If you or someone you love is facing cataract surgery, please watch this before you make your decision. Every single day, thousands of Americans walk into a consultation and are handed a choice that sounds simple on paper, but isn't. And here's the problem. Most patients don't even realize they're being asked to choose at all. They think there's just one way to do this surgery, one lens, one outcome. So they nod, they sign the paperwork, and they move forward without asking the one question that actually matters. Many people don't even realize this until months later, when they're sitting in their living room, squinting at the TV, wondering why their vision still isn't quite right. The reason is much more important than it seems, because this isn't just about clearing up blurry vision. It's about how you'll read your grandchild's birthday card, how you'll drive to church on a bright Sunday morning, how you'll see the road at night without that painful glare from oncoming headlights. Today, I'll break it down simply and to the point, so you walk into that doctor's office informed, confident, and ready to ask the right questions. Watch to the end, and you'll understand everything. Because this decision, you only get to make it once. Part 1. So let's start with the truth nobody tells you in that 10-minute consultation. When your doctor says you need cataract surgery, they're really telling you two different things at once, and most offices only explain one of them clearly. The first thing is simple. Your natural lens has clouded over, like a window that's been fogged up for years, and it needs to be removed. That part, almost every doctor explains well. But here's what gets rushed through, sometimes in less than 60 seconds. What kind of replacement lens goes in its place? And that single choice is the one that decides whether you'll be reaching for reading glasses for the rest of your life or not. Here's where it gets interesting. Most insurance plans, including Medicare, cover the most basic replacement lens. It works. It's safe. Thousands of people get it every year. But it's built to focus clearly at just one distance. So if you choose it without knowing what you're choosing, you might walk out of surgery with sharp distance vision and find yourself squinting at your phone, your medication bottles, or your crossword puzzle every single day after. This is very important, so let me say it plainly. The surgery itself has a very high success rate. That's not the part patients get wrong. What they get wrong is walking in without understanding there's a decision to make at all. They assume the surgeon will just pick the right one for them. And sometimes, that's exactly what happens. The default gets chosen for them, not because it's wrong, but simply because nobody asked the follow-up question. Now here's the twist that catches a lot of people off guard. Two neighbors can have the exact same cataract, walk into the exact same clinic, and come out with two completely different daily lives. One still juggling 3 pairs of glasses, the other barely touching them at all. Same surgery, same surgeon, even in some cases. The difference came down to a 5-minute conversation one of them happened to have, and the other one didn't. And that raises the real question sitting underneath all of this. If the outcome depends so heavily on a choice most patients don't even know they're making, what exactly is that choice, and how do you make sure you're the one steering it? Part 2. All right, so let's get into the actual choice. The one that's quietly shaping how clearly you'll see for the next 20, 30 years of your life. When it comes to replacement lenses, there are really 3 paths people take. The first is what we already talked about, the standard single-focus lens. It's reliable, it's covered by most insurance, and for a lot of people, especially those who don't mind wearing reading glasses, it's genuinely the right fit. There's no shame in choosing Simple. Simple works for millions of Americans every year. But then there's a second path, and this is where a lot of people's eyes light up in the consultation room once they finally hear about it. These are the premium lenses, sometimes called multifocal or extended depth lenses. They're built to give you clear vision at more than one distance. So instead of switching between 3 pairs of glasses throughout your day, you might need almost none. Sounds perfect, right? Here's the twist, though. These lenses aren't automatically the better choice for everyone. Some patients notice halos around lights at night. Some notice a subtle loss of contrast in dim rooms. For a retired schoolteacher who loves reading in bed, that trade might be absolutely worth it. For a former truck driver who still takes long night drives to visit grandkids 2 states away, it might not be. And that brings us to something almost nobody mentions in a rushed appointment. Your lifestyle should be driving this decision, not the other way around. This is very important. Before you even think about which lens, you need to sit down and honestly ask yourself, What do I actually do all day? Do I read a lot? Do I drive at night? Do I garden, sew, cook, work on the car, play cards with the neighbors on the porch? Because the best lens isn't a medical fact. It's a personal fit, like picking the right pair of shoes for the life you actually live, not the life on paper. Here's a small but powerful step you can take before your surgery date is even set. Write down on a simple piece of paper the top 3 things you do with your eyes every single day. Not someday, every single day. Bring that list with you to your consultation. Doctors see hundreds of patients. They cannot read your daily habits from across the room. But when you hand them that list, the conversation changes completely. Suddenly, they're not guessing. They're matching a lens to your actual life. And here's the part that surprises people most. Many patients don't even realize they're allowed to ask for a second opinion on lens selection. Not on whether they need surgery, but on which lens fits them best. It's not rude. It's not distrustful. It's simply smart. Because remember those 2 neighbors from before? The one who ended up needing far fewer glasses didn't get lucky. She asked. She brought her list. She pushed the conversation a little further than, just tell me what's standard. So now you understand the real decision hiding underneath the surgery. But there's one more piece, maybe the most important one, that ties everything together and determines whether you walk away from this fully satisfied or quietly wishing you'd known sooner. Part 3. Here's the piece that ties it all together. And it's honestly the one thing I wish every patient heard before they ever stepped foot in that consultation room. The biggest mistake isn't picking the wrong lens. It's picking any lens without talking to your surgeon about your other eye. That's right, your other eye. Most cataract surgeries happen one eye at a time, usually a few weeks apart. And here's the twist almost nobody warns you about. Whatever choice you make for the first eye quietly shapes what happens with the second one too. Some patients choose a standard lens for one eye and a different type for the other, a strategy some doctors call blended vision, specifically so they can see both up close and far away without glasses at all. It sounds unusual. It even sounds risky. But for the right person with the right lifestyle, it can feel like getting your 20-year-old eyes back. This is very important, so listen closely. None of this works if you stay silent and just go along with whatever's offered first. The patients who end up thrilled with their results, the ones who call their daughter that same night and say, I can read the menu without my glasses for the first time in 15 years, they all have one thing in common. They asked questions. They brought their list. They treated this decision like it mattered because it does. So here's what I want you to do. Before your next appointment, or before you even schedule one, write down your daily habits like we talked about. Think honestly about night driving, reading, hobbies, screen time. And when you sit across from your eye doctor, don't just nod along. Ask them plainly. Given how I actually live my life, which lens fits me best? That one sentence can change the next 2 decades of how clearly you see the world. Cataract surgery is one of the safest, most successful procedures in modern medicine. That part isn't in question. What's in question is whether you walk into it as a passenger or as someone in the driver's seat of your own care. Now you know the difference. Now the choice truly is yours. If this helped you understand something you didn't know before, share it with someone you love who might be facing this same decision soon. Take care of those eyes. They've got a lot more beautiful mornings left to see.